Hello, everyone. It is Mr. Fernandez again, and we are continuing our financial conversations. This video is going to be about how to figure out your provincial income tax. So the previous one focused on our federal income tax. This one is on our provincial. You do have to figure them out separately, and then we'll add the totals together, and that will determine our final tax obligation based on income. And that will be used also to determine our net income versus our gross income. And so these are high level concepts that a lot of people do understand in theory, but you don't necessarily understand, or they don't necessarily understand the nuances. And the reason why I'm explaining them to you is because it will help with budgeting. If you believe, or if you make $20 per hour, you're not actually taking home $20 per hour. So you need to understand that because if you build a budget around $20 per hour for your income, you're actually going to fall short because some of that money is going elsewhere. So without further ado, let's get into the provincial tax. Now, unlike our federal income tax, where we use this graphic here to showcase our different thresholds, the provincial income tax is organized a little bit differently. The federal one tells us from amount X to amount Y, it's this percentage. And then from amount Y to amount Z, it's this amount. And then from amount Z to amount A, it's this percentage. The provincial income tax goes a little bit differently. It says for this first amount X, you have this percentage of income tax. Then it says for the next amount, it's actually amount Y because it's a different amount, you have this percentage. And then for this amount Z, you have this amount. And so it's going to look a little different. And so the way that we're going to figure it out is, and this is it all figured out. I had to do a test run to make sure that I fully understood it and whatnot. So I do, which is great. It's just a different way of structuring it. With Ontario, and I'm going to put the probably right over here, the actual income tax brackets. In Ontario, they say the first $44,740 is taxed at 5.05%. Now, we are going with the estimate of $150,000. So I'm going to set it up like this, okay? And you can see how my rough work will match up to that. The first thing I need to do is make sure, do I actually have this amount? Now we can eyeball it and say like, oh, 100% we have that amount. $150,000, way bigger than 44,000. But we're going to need to know how much money is left over. So the first thing we need to do is take $150,000 and subtract it, or subtract from it $44,740. And so that equals a total of $105,260. Okay, so we've taken our total income, subtract it from the amount for this threshold, and this gives us our remaining balance. So we know we have $44,740 at 5.05%. And instead of like the federal one where I'm going to figure out each tax obligation first, I'm going to do all of the amount thresholds, then we'll do the taxations. What we're then going to do is take that remaining amount, the 105, 206, and from it we're going to subtract the next threshold amount, which is very close to the first, $44,742. Okay? And that's because we want to make sure, do we actually have this amount of money in this total? Yes, 100% we do. But we want to clarify because we know we have more, so we'll have to make sure for our next threshold. And so that amount equals 60,518. And so we know that we have $44,742 at the next tax threshold, which is 9.15%. Okay, so this amount here is how much for threshold 1, which is taxed at 5.05%, our lowest income. Then In our second tier, at the next $44,742, it's taxed at 9.15%. Okay, so we're getting a little bit higher. Now we go up to our next threshold. So we take 60,518 and we subtract from it, interestingly, and I did not plan this, 60,518 to make a perfect zero. So there is no remaining balance. A little unexciting for math, but for our purpose, it's probably good. We don't want to get too complicated. And so now you can see we have no remaining monies. It's all gone. It's all been used up. And so we have threshold 1, threshold 2, and we've met threshold 3. If we had less than 150,000, let's say it was $140,000 we're making per year, so this amount would decrease by 10,000, it would still be taxed at this level. If we had more than 150, let's say we had $160,000, we would actually go up to threshold 4, okay? So not overly complicated, but we get to see all three thresholds with this one. So like before, we're going to take our percentages and we're going to convert them into decimals because we need to figure out what our tax obligation is. So 5.05% equals 0.0505. So that's our decimal number. And now we're going to multiply it by $44,740. And again, I'm going to open up my calculator on the computer and type everything in because I don't want to have to do it myself. I'm not going to lie, I am lazy. So we put that in, and our total tax obligation for this first threshold is $2,259.37. Now we're going to go to our next threshold. So 9.15% equates to 0.0915. And we're going to times that by the amount that we have there, so $44,742. And again, let's use our calculator. It is good if you can figure out how to do this without the calculator, just so that you know in case, let's say, the whole world comes crashing down. But at the same time, technology is here, and it is time to embrace it. So $4,093.89. Now it's actually 893. The 3 is lower than 5, so we round down. So it is just 89 cents. If it had been 5 or higher, so let's say it was 896, then we would move up to the 90 cents. But we don't have to. And finally, for our last threshold, we convert that 11.16% into 0.1116 and multiply that by the amount in there, which is 60,518. And that, say that like I have the number ready, is like, it's going to be a big reveal, and I've totally just let you write down there. And that sparkles and confetti and fireworks, because this is the most excitement that I have right now and being isolated. The total provincial tax obligation for this threshold at the 11% is $6,753. And here's where we have to round up, because it's decimal 8088. We're going to round it up to 81. So we have, just like in our federal level, we have our 3 income tax obligations. 1, 2, 3. We can see them. 1, 2, and 3. So now we need to add them all together to find out our total provincial tax income obligation. So $2,259.37 plus $4,093.89 plus $6,753.81 gives us a total of $13,107.07. And so we have, get rid of the calculator, boom, our provincial tax obligation is done. Now we have our federal and we have our provincial. In the next video, I'm going to go over what we do when we add them together and then how we figure out our net income. But it's important to understand our provincial versus our federal. And it's interesting that you can actually see that our federal government actually takes in more money. The percentages are higher. So if we look at that first tier, it goes up to $48,000 and it's at 15%. The first tier at the provincial level is only 5%. So when people complain about, oh, my taxes are so high, make sure you're complaining about the right ones. In Ontario elections, I hear a lot of people saying Ontario has the highest income tax. It's actually wrong. Ontario has one of the lowest income tax levels of any province or territory. I think the only one lower than our province is Alberta. And with all due respect, we see how that's going right now. Not well. Uh, so this is important. You need to know how much money you will actually take home. What is your net income? And in the third video that I'll make, the next one you should watch, we will put it all together and I'll show you how to divide it out so that you know exactly what you're going to be taking home every week, every bi-week, so every 2 weeks, every month, and every year. Have a great one. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know. Bye.